Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is a two-shot of Sword Opera, which is an RPG of melodrama and violence. I'm not sure I love that subtitle, but Sword Opera, the title, any kind of action, melodrama, romance is very much my wheelhouse. This session is part of the Open Hearth Gaming Community, which is an online gaming club slash community that you can find out more about at openhearthgaming.com. We have a new community-driven podcast, and there will be links to the feeds for that in the show notes. So what this is, Sword Opera is a game by Eric Farmer and Eli Kurtz. They've written a number of other games. They wrote for me very generously a chapter for Hearts of Wulin on describing combat and combat techniques and fighting and stuff like that. They used to do the Jianghu Hustle podcast, and they have some experience with theater combat and things like that. And so they have a very good eye for these things. And this is something they've been working on for a while. It is a largely Forged in the Dark based game. It's currently, as I said, on Kickstarter, and I will have a link to that in the show notes. I'm using a character keeper that they gave me, and this is based on an Ashcan version of the rules, which is available on itch, which is about 64 pages. It's a really substantial book and certainly one that you can definitely play from. So I'm going to do the cats. I'm going to go through and talk about what it is, what our aims are today, what it's going to be like when we play, and then we're going to talk about safety. So the concept is our characters are paragons. They are exceptional people that exist within an overworld. The term overworld is describing the kind of society that's kind of apart from the normal society. This would be the world of Jianghu in Hearts of Wulin. It's the world of nobles and weird powers and things like this that have their own battles, and normal everyday citizens might sort of know about it, but not be really witnessed or tied into it. That overworld can be all kinds of overworlds. We're working with a particular one that is presented in the Ashcan, which is San Mercutio. This is Three Musketeers meets Romeo and Juliet meets The Tempest. This is a Mediterranean island state. You are all paragons who belong to what's called a circle. In this case, it is the Capuetti family. There are different kinds of circles. Circles is kind of what in regular Force in the Dark would be called a crew. They are groups and organizations at different power levels. You've all worked together. You're brothers and sisters in arms. You are friends, but probably also rivals in some ways. We'll get relationships built up as well as we go along. Our paragons serve their circle and in turn are supported by that circle. That circle helps you out with resources and you carry out tasks for them. Uh, Forge in the Dark, we have a set of abilities that generate dice pools. I'll talk about the mechanics of that when we get to that a little bit more on the rules. You have, beyond your sort of standard abilities of actions that you can do, things that you can do, you have what are called power arts. Power arts are basically justifying uh, the kinds of high-flying, special effects laden combat and other tricks that you can do within this world. They have them in sort of six classes of things that'll talk about whether you're flexing to perform great feats of strength or whether you're dashing to perform great feats of speed. These are abilities that you have. There are different sources for these. In fact, there are six different ones of these, and that will kind of tell us what that looks like when you're doing it, whether your power arts come from training, whether they come from faith, whether they come from magic or whatnot. At base level, there are a set of extra dice that you can get and also give you some justifications to do cool stuff. So that's what they are about. Some of them tie into special abilities for the playbooks. So that's another kind of heads up on that. I will say, so I've read through the rules a couple of times. I am still learning, so I may not hit everything today. We've got a pretty good and complete rules reference here. So I think We should have a decent time with that. I've also run a lot of Forged in the Dark, so I'm not too worried about that. So that's concept. Approach. I'm going to do a little rules explanation. I'm going to check in with everyone about their Forged experience or not. We're going to do some talks about themes. There are some themes that we're going to pick for our underworld. They have a list of those on the Your Underworld tab. We're going to pick three of those that we want to kind of focus in on for our two-session play. I'll have the people pick playbooks. You'll tweak those characters a little bit. Then you'll introduce your character. Everyone will make a connection relationship with the character to their right on the playbook. And then we'll make a little bit of time adding some details to our circles. We have some named people that are the leaders for our circles. On the Capuetti family tab has a description of who they are. We've got some a little bit to add to them. And of course, I went on Pinterest and worked through that and put a bunch of pictures in the NPC tab because that's what you do with this kind of thing. I also reworked the character keeper so you can put a picture for your own character on the character page because that's the most important thing. So we'll do that. Um, That'll probably take us up at least up to a break. I usually take 10 for the first and 5 for the second. Then we'll go to the Paragon phase and we'll put you in the middle of something, probably a party. I like starting at parties. Parties are good. So that it'll depend on the themes that we pick, but that's probably where we'll be. And we'll play out that Paragon phase. One of the things about the Paragon phase in this game is you do a lot of scenes that revolve that you call kind of related to what they have as your goals. They borrow a little bit from this proactive role-playing concept that's been around for a while for kind of having goal-based play. And so you call scenes based on that, but also the kinds of things that you would otherwise do in downtime in Force in the Dark, you call little vignettes to do those things during the Paragon phase. So kind of play it out a little more naturally. I'm going to be really curious about this, how this feels when we go to play it out. And eventually we will get to the circle phase, which is kind of the high level play. Uh, so C-A-T, tone. So tone topic, this is romantic melodrama. It is not grimdark. You are big, flashy heroes. So lean into that. There should be romance, rivalry, betrayal. There may be serious moments. There may be cradling a loved one in your arms, but then you will stand up and you will take the sword to the villain's door at that point. So that's the tone that is my approach to this kind of thing. I'm very much using my wuxia approach to this and bringing that to this. Uh, but with that in mind, we are using, because we always do this in the community, we are using a layered set of safety tools. I'm going to go through what those are. I've noticed that a lot of people have already gotten some things marked here on the lines and veils, and I'll go through what we've already chosen. The first of these is the lines and veils. I know you're all familiar with. Lines are hard lines. This is topics, material, things that we're not seeing in this game. It's not relevant. We're not even going to touch on those things. Uh, and then veils are things that, if they occur, there might be a glance at them. They might be mentioned obliquely. We fade to black. We aren't dwelled on. The camera doesn't settle in to look at them more clearly. We have a list here. You are welcome to add anything you wish to this list, and this is a living document. If we need to add things later, feel free to do that. But as it stands right now, well, we've got some on here, and I'll check back in to see if we've added other things. We have dental horror, graphic gore, homophobia, racism, sexual assault, torture by the PCs, and transphobia as hardlines. That's not material or anything we want to deal with in the game. And then for veils, eye injuries, harm to animals, sexual content, and suicide. So those are the things that will be handled obliquely. So that's kind of our baseline that we're working from. Again, we can add to this. The next thing that we have is the reactive tool we're using is the X card. And in the case of this, probably best to say, you can do this gesture, but nobody ever does. You can say X card, and I would like to X card that. Uh, the only question we might really need to ask is, how far back do we need to cut to get to the material that's there? Um, we can use the X card for material that is objectionable, that is problematic, that is wildly off topic, that is intrusive in terms of play style. All of those things. One of the common uses of the X card is maybe we've started to head towards a line or a veil and we haven't caught it. X card is a good time to stop us to recalibrate. The X card is a good place to stop to do that. When you X card something, you never need to justify your choice. You never need to explain why you're X carding. You don't have to defend your choice, anything like that. You're welcome to do that if you wish, but you are not required to. That's really important. We also have a romance matrix. I notice everybody has already filled that out. Basically, interested in romantic scenes with PCs, with NPCs, or checking in before those things occur. So I thank everybody for filling that out. The last layer of safety that we're using is open door. Open door means that if you need to step away for whatever reason, if you need to go because somebody's at the door or you're not feeling well or whatever, you're welcome to do that. It'd be great if you could tell us if you're going to be back, but that's not a requirement. The open door also applies in this sense is if we get done with this session, or even if we get to a break and you say to yourself, this is not the game I thought it was, or this is not a game I'm ready for, or it's not a game I want to play. You can just, send me a note, say thank you, but not coming back, and I will not hold that against anyone ever. I am old enough to have played in too many games that the social contract obliged me to stay in for too long. I never want anyone to play in a game that they are not enjoying or not into. So that's very important to me. So that's all the safety tools. I have gotten that down to a tight 15 minutes. So I'm very pleased with myself on that. Uh, so has everyone played Forged in the Dark games or Blades in the Dark style games before?
I have not.
Have not?
I've
Okay.
read two of them, but I
Okay.
haven't played them.
Cat?
Same boat for me.
Okay. So the basics of this that I want to kind of go through, I think the most important thing is uh, so you have, when you go to do an action, we have those 8 action types: defy, provoke, read, seize, and so on. Those are written nebulously enough that you just need to coach your fiction to lean into a particular action. So think about that. When we do that, we generate that die pool, that dice. Generally, actions are, in terms of the level of threat that we have, is let me get the terminology that the game uses. Risky means that's the most kind of standard thing. Like if you fail, the consequences are going to be pretty kind of difficult to deal with. And the effect is standard. When you do the thing, you're going to get what you tried to do there. There are ways to negotiate to modify that to make the task more difficult or easier, to make the effect greater or lesser. There's some techniques, and we'll slow down when we get to that. Uh, and there are some ways after you've generated your dice for you to get some additional dice. Your power arts, if you can work them into that, you've got a pool of dice there. Everybody should have 3 dice that you can spend. Those will reset at the circle phase, or there's some ways that they can reset during play. You can help somebody else out. You can help somebody, you spend a stress and they get an extra die to their roll. You can also tempt fate. You can ask for a bad consequence that will happen, but you get an extra die. We then roll the die pool and we see what we get. The highest die is the die that resolves it. And of course, the most important thing is that if you have a mixed success or even a miss, there's a consequence. I'll tell you what the consequence is, and then you can decide whether you want to resist that consequence or not. Um, and there's a resistance roll that's made. And if you do well on the resistance roll, you'll pay no stress. If it's a middling, you'll pay one stress. If you fail the resistance roll, you'll pay two stress. You'll always resist the consequence, but our resistance roll stress resist is 0, 1, or 2, which is a little different from most Force and Dart games. But we'll slow down when we get to that part and work through that. I am going to take a slug of this water right now. So, San Mercutio, island, Mediterranean. Very much imagine we've got a sort of a fantastical Venetian style, but there are also woods, but there's also fog that shrouds this. There's magic around here. There's all different kinds of circles of power and people that are around here. If we look at the Underworld tab, your Underworld, you will see that for this, they have a set of themes. This is row 22 in that sort of first column there. And what they have you do with the session 0 is choose out 3 of these themes that we want to put in combination. And they're grouped into categories. So you could take a couple from one category, or you could take one from 3 different categories. Of course, we've got the Code Duello, which is about the duels and fighting for satisfaction, which includes ideas about sorts of schools of swordsmanship. We've got the courtly work, the courtly intrigue, that kind of thing. We've got the marketplace, more of the kind of on the street negotiations and thieves and things like that. We've got the real hive of scum and villainy, the Night's Black Agents, the seedy underbelly, the pirates, the assassins, all of that. Or even sort of the magical world, the diverse spirits, which could include magicians and witches, restless dead, or the court of Oberon and Titania. So those are the themes that are out there. So at risk of throwing an open question to the table, which I don't like to do, I like to have people call them by name, but I want to put this out there. Do any of these themes like call to people? Is there anyone that anyone wants to like, I really would like us to have this in the mix?
I would really like us to have schools of swordsmanship in the mix.
Okay. Is everybody cool with that as one of the picks? Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. We're going to mark that one. Okay. Schools of swordsmanship. What do we want to mix that up with? Anything else sound good?
So many of these sound good.
I know. That's actually the problem.
That's
There's
the trouble right now.
Just a hair too many.
Uh-huh.
I'm really drawn to the marketplace or diver spirits.
Okay, one of those. Okay.
Okay. I really like the courtiers and courtesans under Grand Duchy.
Okay. Let's put the courtier and courtesans,
that.
and then
Okay.
let's pick one from either the marketplace or the diverse spirits.
I'm really into all of those
Is
too.
Cat. You mentioned both of those. Are any of from those that you just like? This is the one I really would like.
No, what I think would be really fun to mix what we have marked down already is the Phantom Market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
All
Yeah, I
right.
like that.
So I do have a question. Is it diverse or divers?
I I always say diverse because I think that's how it's pronounced, but I don't. But I'm often wrong about Shakespearean
Okay.
pronunciation. So
All right.
Oh.
And
Maybe it is.
I wrote in the chat when you said Night's Black Agent, I got very confused.
oh yes, no, sorry.
They should. That's not your fault.
It's a
You didn't write
crossover.
it, right?
This is Shakespeare reference. Yeah. All
Oh,
right.
yes.
So schools of swordsmanship. So we know we have dueling. We've got sites of competition and so on. We know that we have this phantom market, this ghost market that is out there that has weird things in it, a place of dangers and so on. But then we also know that there's a strong emphasis on courtiers, courtesans, whispering between the meetings and the galas. So that's going to be the three things we're going to want to
I would just have
think about when we do this. So we have 6 paragons. We go to that tab. Uh, each of these is kind of a playbook, and it starts with some set attributes and actions, some dots that are spread out amongst those. Uh, they each have a goal, and that is something that your character wants to do. You are welcome to tweak that if you wish. So put that in there. Uh, so you've got your attributes, you've got your goal, you've got your arts. It'll tell you what the source of your power is. And if you look there under the arts, you'll see that you've got one art that has a checked box under the plus. That means you're very good at that. And it means that your dice come back to you more easily for that. And you've got one that is at a minus. That means you're not very good at that, and very weak at that. The other ones you're okay with. But you've got 3 art dice that you can spend. And then there's a way that you can get your art dice back during play. That's the refresh phrase that's there. And that differs from character playbook to character playbook. And then the only other big thing that you have is your special ability. And this is the starting standard special ability for that playbook. One of the things about this is when you do get an advance, and you will get an advance, we'll give you an advance at start of next session. You'll get to either add a dot to something or take another special ability. If you decide to take another special ability, you can take it from your playbook or you can take it from any playbook. The game kind of keeps that open for folks. So Brushman, you were the first person on the scene today. So I'm going to ask you first. Any of these really appeal to you? Or do you want to be the last person to make the pick?
Can I be the last person to pick?
You can absolutely do that. I want to always try to give the first person that option. Jolene.
I was gonna offer to let other people pick.
Okay, we'll come around. Well, Laura,
It's
if
gonna
I
be in
came to
reverse
you,
order.
do you have one that you want or a couple that you're leaning towards?
I'm really interested in the captain, but also the disaster and the ruthless are appealing to me.
Okay, Captain, Disaster. I just love that name, Disaster. That's just
Yes,
Yeah, I
absolutely
mean it's
great.
that's
so
that's
evocative.
a
Yes.
favorite
Love it.
archetype there right there.
Kat, what about you?
You
gotta unmute.
I know.
Sorry. It looked like you were talking.
I'm at first glance, I'm drawn to the analysts, but I'm still kind of parsing through them.
Okay. So, Jillian, if I came back
I'll
to
be a
you,
guide.
you'd be a guide? Okay.
Nobody mentioned guide unless Brushman really wants guide, but
Okay.
do you?
So, guide for that.
Cool.
Well, or if I came back to you and said, which of those 3 you really want to do?
Um, right now it's between the captain and the disaster.
Captain and Disaster.
I think I
Okay.
might just go with the disaster.
Okay.
It's
I
so
think that's
fun.
more than reasonable.
All right.
Yeah.
Kat, do you want to do the analyst? Or is another one caught your eye now?
I'll tentatively take the analyst.
Okay. All right.
Sounds like an analyst thing to say.
So if we had then the Savant and the Ruthless and the Captain out there, Brushman, any of those strongly appeal to you?
I'll try Ruthless for this playtest.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Then can I change it to the Savant?
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I'll stick with the guide. That's atypical for me. So.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. So what you're going to do is figure out a name, pronouns, You're welcome to tweak your goal if you want. You can find a pick for your character, and that's done with insert image into that cell. Um, you may move two of your action dots around if you want, or you can leave them as they are. Um, and I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes to do that and look at the character and do that, and then we'll do the introductions and build a relationship, and then we're going to kind of look at our circles and make some other choices. So I'm going to pause the recording during this awkward silence, and I'm going to mute myself. So what I'm going to do is come to you and have you tell me how you're envisioning their character. Introduce yourself, your pronouns, your character's name, their pronouns, what you're imagining for them, and we'll talk about what that means. Jolene, you have your picture in the keeper, so I'm going to actually start with you there. You actually built a backdrop already, so
Yeah, look, I'm reusing a backdrop, so
fair enough. So introduce yourself and then the character.
hi, I'm Jolene. She, her. I'm playing Giselle, the guide, also she, her. I see her as like kind of like taking a servant-like role among the group. You know, she's there to support and help the others, which some of these disasters need that as much help as they can get. She's like, tries to smooth things over
Uh,
and
and
never trying to be like, well, yeah, no, or never blatantly trying to take credit for things. She was like, no, that was so and so, just see.
okay, you have a goal there.
Yeah, I didn't know how to change. Couldn't think of anything to change
Okay.
it to,
Well,
so.
and feel free if you find something during play that more appeals to you than that. If that isn't singing to you, that you find
Oh,
something.
okay. Actually, I want to like rephrase it to something related to toward disaster. I'm like, hey, help, basically helping Valencia get forgiven or something.
Help someone find forgiveness.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
That works perfectly.
That is a nice actually modification of healing a rift between a parent and a child in its own
Yeah.
way.
Eh,
Uh, so you have for your source faith.
hmm
How are you picturing that?
I think that's faith in her friends,
Okay.
like those that she surrounds herself with.
So are you saying that you are powered by friendship?
Yes,
Okay. Absolutely.
yes.
Um,
I'm Monkey D. Luffy,
absolutely.
except not the fighter.
Do you imagine that you have some fighting skills? I mean, you certainly have a
Oh yeah,
blade there.
totally.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I can't. You can't expect me to play a 7C game or 7C like game and not wanting to be decent. I just didn't put boxes in it. So
Do you imagine with the family that you come from, a line within the family, that you were brought in, that you came through the sword school, picked up as an urchin off the street? How do you imagine that?
I think it was like not an urchin, not through the sword school because I don't I don't think I took any boxes in like the actual fighting stuff. But like it's just like it's a big honor to become a servant, you know, get into servant class in this circle or family or whatever we're calling it as. Like a squire of
Okay.
sorts. It's like, all right, yeah, you're going to go and help this person.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. And you've got the nice team player special ability there. Um, and if you may notice under your assets, you
I'm
have
thinking,
a title.
I think like, for Three Musketeers fan, Planchette. Like she's the Planchette of the group.
Okay,
Probably a bit more, you know, actual say over what she can do, but
I like it. All right. I think that gives us a decent picture. I'm going to move along the character keeper. Let's come to our ruthless. Brushman, tell us about your character. Introduce yourself, your pronouns, character pronouns, and who they are.
Uh, Hi, I go by Brushman on the internet. Um, he for pronoun is fine. Gonna be playing Lysandros. I'm not sure the last name would be the same as the house, or it
Okay.
can just be alluded. Uh, they can use any pronouns.
Okay.
Just I cannot decide. They will probably most likely look androgynous, so probably can pass for any pronouns.
Okay.
They
Eh,
are a vindictive guard of the House Capuletti, looking to exact revenge against Prince Montecchi for
Okay.
his wrong against my people, which I don't know what yet. Probably something to do
Absolutely.
with taxes.
Okay.
If we are going to involve the market,
Yeah. Uh, so are you picturing yourself, what kind of age are you imagining? Particularly young, kind of in the middle, somewhat older?
it's what are other people thinking of their age range? Should we be like
I
Giselle?
maybe
envisioned Giselle in her 20s.
Okay.
I was thinking late 20s for Val.
Cat?
Yeah, about the same.
Okay.
how about 28 for
Okay. So
Lysandra?
good, solid in. So strong sense of these are your peers. These are people that you would have, worked with, grown up with. Um, it
Not
says that you,
so old
oh,
that he or they forget about revenge,
okay.
but not too young to be like to have already died from trying to exact revenge.
Right. Uh, so grit is kind of willpower and so on. How are you imagining that is? How is it that is kind of what puts you through that power source? What drives you to keep pushing to give you those abilities with your power arts? Is it pure vengeance? Is it a memory of someone? Is it honor? What do you think?
I think right now it's probably between honor and the vengeance,
Okay.
the thought of vengeance.
Got a little bit of burning sense there. Um, you got
I
that.
lean
And
into the ruthless.
yes, and you have the title of Shade there under your assets. You have the Grim Shadow who achieved things in House Capuletti. The House Capuletti prefers to keep secret, so you do what needs to be done. Are you happy with that?
Just under.
If you look under on row 57, everybody has an asset.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Do you think that's well known among your peers, or is that something that you keep a little more quiet?
I think kept quiet.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, we'll come back around to you when we do the relationship questions here in a moment. Which brings us around carriage return to our analyst. Please tell us about our analyst character.
Hi, I'm Kat. I use she, her. I will be playing the analyst who I've named Evander, pronouns he, him. I'm imagining him as maybe he was not always from around here. He is still has a bit of an outsider mystique and a hunger to kind of prove himself and rise in the ranks in this world he's found himself in.
Excellent. Um, so you've got a goal of closing a deal with a noble family there. Do you think when it says deal, do you imagine that's a business deal, a magical bargain, something else? How are you picturing that?
I was picturing a business deal, but I really liked what you said about a magical bargain.
Okay, okay,
You caught my vibe pretty quick.
okay. Um, do you think those tattoos are those more stylistic, or do you think that's part of your magic?
I think those are stylistic. I'm kind of picturing like the magic and the analyst powers is more truth-based, so I'm kind of picturing him as some sort of diviner reading
Okay,
the stars and tea leaves, but I think here in these parts he's trying to pass it off as just he himself uh kind of overstating his own intellect and observation.
okay. So these are likely talents and skills and magical ways of the place that you came from.
I think so.
Okay, okay. Um, out, you know when someone's lying to you like that. And you've got the asset of careful scrutiny there. I like that.
Hmm.
Um, do you think that you came to the house trying to find a place there, or do you think you were recruited once you arrived? How are you imagining that?
I think perhaps he was recruited after finding himself in the area.
Okay. Do you think they have a lot of magicians in the house, or few, or like what is that like?
I don't think I think there's a few.
Okay.
There's not enough that it would be anyone walking down the hallway can clock that he's using magic instead of wits, but I do think there's a risk.
Okay. Excellent. All right. I think that gives us a pretty good picture of who Evander is, which brings us last but not least to our disaster.
Hello, I am Walora. Uh, I go by she, her, and this is Valencia or Val. She, they. They are a uh, hotshot new swordsman who really likes to push their luck. Um, and their can-do attitude can carry her wherever she goes. Uh, that's what she thinks anyways.
Hmm.
And that's what she thinks everybody should think because give me a break. Um, so yeah, she's trying to convince the Baron that their mistake wasn't too bad. Um, they go off of luck. Um, I think she considers it, I think she considers herself very lucky, and doesn't really account for all of the times that's not true.
Uh, and you've got that lucky coin there. Do you
Yes.
think that uh, did you grow up in the house? Are you part of the family? Were you kind of recruited in? How are you imagining that?
Hmm. I don't think she grew up in the house.
Okay.
Probably recruited in, probably from school of swordsmanship, I
Okay.
think. Kind of rising through the ranks over there. Uh,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
you definitely do have a couple of dots in provoke, so you certainly got that going for you there.
Yeah, yeah. I just tend
Oh,
to push people's buttons.
I like it. And certainly adaptability is your strength with your power art there. Excellent.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. Uh, most of the refresh things are pretty obvious. The yours is a little bit different. Um, crisis harm is a particular kind of harm you can take that basically is here's a consequence we write in is that something has started that is going to, like a fuse has been lit for
Mm,
down the road. That's what a
great.
crisis harm is. So we'll have that on the table.
Sounds awesome.
So the next thing we're going to do is everybody is going to come up with what their relationship is with the character in the column that is right to the right of them, with the wraparound on that. And you can put that in wherever you want. There's a little space below the pronouns there, as it happens. I didn't plan for that, but that's there if you want to put that there. Uh, so, Giselle, what do you think your relationship, interaction, feeling is towards Lysandros?
I think that Giselle does her best to try to help Liz relax more. And like you can't just be you can't just always be focused on vengeance all the time. There's other things in life. Vengeance later,
Is that okay with you, Liz?
dinner now.
Yeah.
Like
How about payback?
Okay.
Not revenge.
payback later. Training now
Excellent.
or something. Market time now.
Uh,
Just gotta trying to teach them to calm down every once. It's okay to.
yeah, I dig that.
It's an ongoing struggle.
So, Lysandros, what do you think your reaction, relationship, interaction with Evander?
So is this one directional?
Yeah, so we're just going to do one and one to the right. Basically, how do you feel about them? What do you think of them? Do you have a reaction to magic in particular, or there being an outsider, or something else?
Hmm. Does it have to be positive?
It can be positive, it can be uncertain, it can be confused.
I can use them. I can use him.
Okay. Are you okay with
Magic.
that, Evander? Okay, great.
But is that something like a choice of the drop down that we pick,
no,
or
no.
we word
This
it?
is basically a little color choice that they have in the session zero for the setup. Um, Evander, how do you feel as the analyst about the disaster?
Her loss is my gain.
Okay,
Wonderful.
I like it. And that works for you, Val?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then Val, how do you feel about Giselle?
I think Giselle needs to find what she really wants, and stop worrying about everybody else for once. Just go after that. Don't overthink it. What are you
Excellent.
waiting for?
And that works for you, Giselle?
No, that's great. Yeah. That's easy for you to say. Swordswoman.
So we are going to take a look now at the family that we have in play. And first, we're going to get everyone to develop something about a particular character, and then I'm going to ask some things that will develop about the house in brief here. The first thing is we have the boss. The boss character is the one that handles a lot of the big choices. They are the ones that are at the top of things. This is Baron Venturi Capuletti. We have a picture of him in the NPC tab. Uh, and he has, of course, at his beck and call, the resources of the house and the cultural cachet of it. He has a negative reputation and a negative trait, which is that he is aggressive. He does push on things perhaps more than he should. So I'm actually going to put this question. We now need to come up with a positive reputation or detail or thing for Baron Ventura Capuletti. And this one, I think I need to put in the hands of Val, since Val's the person who uh, has the Baron as a connection there. So, what do you think the positive reputation should be for your boss?
Ooh. First thing that comes to mind is like principled,
Okay,
you know, like has a kind of code of honor.
yeah. So he may be aggressive, but he's not going to be arbitrary about his decisions. People know to trust that.
Yeah, maybe he's just confident in his code of honor.
Excellent, excellent. The
Hmm.
next person that we have of the trio there is uh, Captain Mendoza. Uh, and we have a picture of her. She is the general for the household and oversees the armaments and defenses for the household. She's a rising star. People are quite fond of her in that, but she does have a negative reputation. Giselle, what what is the negative reputation for Captain Mendoza?
Is there a list or just off the dome,
This is
off the top of
off the
my
top of your
dome?
head. Yes.
Okay. I think it's organized.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
In what sense do you want to like
Um,
personal disorganization or disorganization of the tasks or
no, I think personal disorganization, like her, look, she's good at her job, like, or she skyrocketed real fast, but it's just her, she's a mess.
okay,
Like, if you get to know her, it's just like you walk into her office, she might know where everything is, but like outside of work, it's even worse. So,
okay. And then our executive is the Major Domo Grana Rossi. They handle the business, they handle the accounts. With a picture of them there. They don't look sinister at all. But there they are. They have a principled reputation as well. They definitely hold to that. Probably a different kind of set of principles than our Baron does, but they have that. Brushman, what is the negative reputation that our executive, our major domo has?
Eddie,
Petty. Oh, very nice. And then uh, I'm going to put this in your head. You have a Sister Illuminata, who oversees the fairy ring that the Capulettis have access to. It is in a different area. Um, Tell me something about uh, Sister Illuminata, Evander.
She keeps very peculiar uh uh effigies and memorabilia around her.
I like that. Like what kind of peculiar?
Like
Oh, I've
we
misspelled peculiar so badly. I'm not even going to
uh
talk about that.
it's okay, I didn't see it.
Okay.
Uh like we know she's involved with sort of the more magical and spiritual world, but I think her what she has on her is what would at first be described as dark, cursed, demonic. She there's something that's not quite right, but also we don't know enough about magic that maybe it is, maybe they just look like that here.
I like it. Certainly for a nun, she's dressed sort of oddly in the picture, so
Uh-huh.
I dig that very much. Uh, so now you know who the three keys are, that boss, that general, and the executive. You'll see that you have relationships with those people. One of them should be at 3 dice, proven. One of them should be at 2 dice, meaning average, and one of them should be at 1 die, meaning tense. You may now go through and assign those. They are as you wish. You can change them from what they are on your sheet currently. Basically, this is when you go to talk to them and ask them for help, what kind of help they can provide, how easy it is to get the help from them.
On the sheet or on that tab?
You'll see it's on row 50 of the Paragon's sheet. It's just above the elements. There's a track for your relationships.
So pick one of them.
So one of them will be at 2 dice. One of the relationships will be at 1 die, and one of the relationships will be at 3 dice. So you can keep them as they are set right now, or you can swap them around. Val, what is the name of the School of Swordsmanship for the Capuletti family?
Ooh, this is a good question. Um, hmm. Google some words real quick.
Please, absolutely. Yeah. No, names are the hard ones.
Uh-huh. Hmm. Yeah, what comes to mind is like ramparts.
Ooh, okay.
That might be the colloquial name for it, though.
So for colloquial, it's called the Ramparts.
Yeah.
What kind of style is it? Does that suggest a defensive style or a solid bulwark style? Is that how you're imagining?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Is
I
it
think
is
they
it
have like big walls, you know.
okay?
They like to
Uh,
look over the whole city.
do you think with the swordsmanship school, do you think it's a standard long sword and short sword, or two long swords, or long sword and buckler shield, or something else, or a mix, or other weapons? What do you think?
Hmm. I was picturing like rapiers,
Okay,
but I don't know enough about swordsmanship to know
sure,
how effective that is. Maybe saber style of fencing.
yeah. Well, certainly, saber and rapier, saber
Yeah.
and knife. Those are really classic.
Yeah.
I dig that. Giselle, you look at the NPCs there.
Hmm.
You see the second row has the Montecchi,
Adorno, right? Oh no, there's two. There's three of them.
Valentina Montecchi, Adorno Montecchi, Gino, and Origa Montecchi. Um, which one of these has most recently caused embarrassment to your household, and how?
Uh, no. Gino.
Okay. And so how did this sword person of the Montecchi family, what did they do that caused the
He got
Capulettis to lose face?
he got drunk and started like just started just caused a huge scene. Started a quote unquote and he got caught in an unsanctioned duel.
So he caused one of your people to get caught in an unsanctioned duel.
No, he
So
right.
I'm
He's
asking
this.
what they did to you. He
Oh,
he caused your family a problem. So tell me what he did that
oh, he's
caused
not part
cost
of our
you.
family. Oh, okay.
No, no. You are the
I don't.
Capulettis, and this is the Montecchis,
I don't
and
look.
never the twain shall meet.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. All right, now I gotta rethink.
Yeah,
They did
absolutely.
something to cause us to be
Yeah, embarrassment,
embarrassed.
dishonor,
Okay.
disgrace, upset.
Okay.
We're gonna light a
Can
fuse right now.
uh,
You have
can
an
I
idea?
make a suggestion?
Sure.
Do we decide what the disaster was? The mistake was for
We
the
haven't yet
disaster?
We have
established
not
that.
yet.
No.
You have a
Do you have something in
suggestion?
mind?
Do you want that to be tied in to the mistake or not? It's okay if you don't.
Oh, I'm willing. Yeah.
So
Then
so
then
did
unsanctioned the duel was between him
Oh,
and you did not win or won in a way that was not
that's interesting.
that is interesting.
So they
Like he
lured
ethical maybe?
manipulated events just to like really goad you into an
Yeah.
unwinnable.
Yeah.
yeah,
Totally.
you were told we cannot have a fight at this event. This is very important. Regardless of what they say, we must maintain face. And somehow Gino goaded you, got under your skin, pushed,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then not only did you have the fight, but you did not come out on the better side of it.
I was
Yeah.
thinking, okay, you could be the Zuko that he tricked you into speaking on a turn or fighting
I feel
that
like it could have
embarrassed the
yeah.
Baron.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm imagining like, jumping up on the table or something. Like you say that one more time.
I like it. So that is the scene that has created an issue there. Um, Giselle, besides Gino, which one of the Montecchis do you have a love-hate relationship with?
Okay. Let's see. What's the Bravo's like a fighter, right?
Bravo is basically they are
Like a sword.
a student. They go out, they party, they throw their sword around.
I think then Valentina.
Okay. And so a little bit of noble love-hate. How would that come about?
I think maybe like because you know I'm a serv like maybe the Montecchis were trying to like they found out that my I think like there was an offer for me to be taken into the Montecchi family, but then I ended up through no fault of my own, of course, with the Capulettis.
Okay. Okay.
And like
So
Valentina was like she showed up like to make the invitation to see me shaking hands or whatever.
yeah,
It's just like, oh,
a
cool.
certain amount of embarrassment that she has let fester there. Okay. Um, Lysandros, what is the next big event that is coming up in the season? Is it a grand ball? Is it a costume party? Is it some kind of outdoor carnival? Is it a holiday celebration? Is it a wedding? What do you think it is?
Probably something to do with the Phantom Market,
Okay. So like the opening of the market, the opening of the arrival, perhaps?
or is the seasonal week long celebration of something about the Phantom Market. I haven't
I think having the Phantom Market arrive at a carnival week and tying that in certainly makes sense. At
Oh, so you're thinking it's not the Phantom Market doesn't operate every day. It operates at a certain
were you suggesting it's
period of year.
so do you think that it's that the is it that the Phantom Market arrives, or is it that the Phantom Market sponsors, or what do you think there?
So I'm gonna ask the group, what do you
Okay.
think of the Phantom Market comes because of the prestige of the Montecchi family? So they're only here because the Montecchi,
Ah. So this is quite a coup for the
yeah,
Montecchi that the Phantom
to
Market has
show
come.
everyone else that you have to thank us because without our influence, you wouldn't even enjoy this Phantom Market.
I like that. I like that. Get names here. Uh, Evander, what is a sinister rumor that you have heard about the Phantom Market?
I heard that this is the final time they will be in our fair country.
Right. That they're disbanding, that they're never coming back? Like why?
There's something going on behind the scenes, and someone with a lot of power has personal stakes in making sure that these uh these folks never come back to these parts.
Okay.
I heard they steal children anyway, so it's fine.
All right. We're going to take our first break here. We're going to take 10, and then we're going to come back and we're going to roll into the Paragon phase. So we back in 10 minutes. So we do have a roller on the safety and resources tab there. It's roll dice with friends there. However, if you have dice at home, you're more than welcome to roll those. I don't care either way. It is up to you. Um, I got a bunch of physical dice in front of me, but I'm a GM, so I never get to roll them. There we go. So sad. There's this lovely root dice too. Anyway, uh, we take up, and it has been kind of cloudy over the house of Capuletti for the last couple of weeks. There was that incident at the prince's reception Val was involved with that has been simmering below the surface for a while. The second blow to that was the announcement of the Montecchis handling the arrival of the Phantom Market, the masquerade and carnival week that would accompany that, great dispensation of money and favors and things being paid out. And certainly it seems like their star is on the rise. Capulettis have certainly acknowledged the work, have been polite about things, but have tried to stay out of it. But I think when we come in, we see the hustle and bustle of that night carnival event. We see the torches, we see the masks, we see people moving around in here, and we do definitely see the four of you together looking around carefully. You'll see lots of badges for the various groups around here, especially the Montecchis, and the archway that leads into where the Phantom Market has set up. And I think we flash back to about an hour and a half ago, and we see the four of you in front of Baron Venturi. And he says, we have a problem, and I need you. There are a lot of people who are occupied with other things right now. And so I called you for my ready hands to take care of a problem that I want to be handled. I do not wish to say discreetly because I would not have called you all if I was going to say discreetly. But I need it to be handled with some care. As you may know, I have, because of the situation with the Montecchi, I have forbidden the younger members of our household from attending the carnival after dark. One of my sister's children, Copper Capuletti, they are in their 13th year. They managed to drag along with them a friend and have escaped out from the household, and I have it on good authority that they have gone to the market and to the party. I need them found and brought back uninjured. Do you think you can do that?
Absolutely, sir.
That is what I wanted to hear. Do I hear affirmations from your three colleagues?
Now, when you say uninjured, we drag them back by their ear. Is that allowed?
Any injury I wish to be easily healed,
Okay, so
uh, and of a modest nature such that my sister will not yell at me about what has
of
occurred.
of course.
Are there any special circumstances regarding their friend?
Their friend is also a member of our household, but of a slightly lower status. They have generally acted as a anchor for them, so I rather think that they have been dragged along.
Hmm.
I
I am
don't know
not
anything like that.
sure how they got out, though, and that has me worried.
Oh, children will find a way out of anything.
That is cold
You
comfort
would
to
know.
me, but yes.
Would you like me to question everyone in the house?
No, I want you to retrieve these children, and the questioning will happen later.
Mm.
Very well.
We'll
It,
get upon this expeditiously.
yes, yes. Wish you to go now. The bursar will have some coin for you that you can spend about, and masks if you need to conceal yourselves. Uh, just do it.
It's done.
Ah, that again, another good phrasing. I like that. I like that. That makes me have more faith in my choice of you four.
You will not be disappointed, sir.
He's already shaking his head.
We'll get on it.
I-
It's like dragging Val out
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
of the
Yeah.
office. Right.
So Giselle, tell me something about the carnival that's going on, the events around you, the night market. Let's start to paint the scene a little here. What do we see on screen, Giselle?
Okay, like yeah, we've got some like fire breathers. They've got one of those set up like, it's not like a full circus trapeze, no, high wire thing, but like, the traveling old style carnival where they set up their own like poles to do like the little acrobatics on that little tight rope.
Absolutely. They've got various entertainers
There's
moving and
the
working the crowd.
whatever the guy with the monkey and the organ is called.
Organ grinder.
Oh yeah, organ right. Yep, right there, right on the tin.
Right, thank you. Very close. Yeah, so we see a lot of that. How do we
A lot of the ships are in, so like, the sailors are all partying and it's
what's the
not
difference between sort of the carnival here, let me ask you, Giselle, and what we see of sort of to the market itself? Like, is there a different vibe? Is it more brilliant there? Is it darker there? Is it different? What do you
as
think?
in the phantom market or
Yeah,
just the market.
the Phantom market that is here as a special part of this.
I think there's like it's definitely a different vibe. Like the colors seem a bit like off in a way that, you can't really describe, but it's like, hey, that's green, but it's not really green.
Okay. Slight change of color temperature as we head over towards that. I like that.
Hmm.
Val, what's another thing that we will see on screen here, either about the entertainments or the activities or the guards or whatnot?
Mm. Um, I think we can kind of see already some of the like undercurrent of what is happening at this market, like money changing hands in dark corners, whispers, kind of uh people clearly scoping out for easy pockets to pick.
Absolutely. Do you think that is there an organized thieves guild, or is it more different batches of runner groups, or something else?
I feel like there's a thieves guild
Okay.
we have to be careful of.
So they are definitely moving around and about, taking advantage of the masks and so on. They are working their way from the easy marks of the drunken sailors on to others. You've lived here long enough. You recognize the teams and things.
Hmm.
Um, Evander, what's the what's the magical vibe in the air here? What do we see of that? What do we see on screen that tells us that there is some work of enchantment or sorcery happening in the air?
I think that all the masks that people from the night market don, they seem a little too realistic, at least in this new light that they're in. If they follow a drunken sailor back out over to the ship, the mask appears like it was a mask all along, simple leather and good craftsmanship, but something about the market itself makes the different faces of the animals and the strange faces of like, the happy sad uh dramaturgy faces seem almost as alive as the people who are wearing them.
Nice, nice little mobility to them when they come out of that different color. Like they become less real, but definitely in that market, you will feel that. I think your skin will itch a little
Mm.
as
Mhm.
some of them pass by. And Lysandros, what's another thing we see out here on the streets? Does it feel like most of the party is out here, or does it feel like the nobles are gathered at the market, or something else? What else do we see?
Uh, Spontaneous duels break out between ghostly specters.
And I think you have enough of an eye to know that it's more than just an illusion or a phantasm or an entertainment, as most people are taking it. Most people are reading that as some costumed thing being put on, but it definitely feels like there's a chill in the air where those duels are happening. It feels dangerous. So, Giselle, I waited until you took a drink. So, what do you want to do? How do you want to approach this? Let's start with you. We're gonna kind of go around.
Yeah, I'm gonna like go talk to the usual network of the beggars, like sort of like the quote unquote homeless network that like I always make sure to like give some of my coin to because they're very good at keeping their eyes and ears out, like we're of the people.
Okay. Yeah. So you have some
It's
context
like,
there.
hey, we're looking for give a description, you know, decent reward, gotta be low key, more so than my friends usually are.
Okay. Okay. Uh, so that
Stop
feels
preening, Val.
yeah. So what do you want to use for that? Does it, I mean, you've got bond, you've got command, got
I think
read.
bond makes sense
Okay.
because this also gives me more dice, but also uniting things.
Yeah. So
Like there's some missing children, things are dangerous. You obviously y'all don't want to see these kids get hurt.
all right. Uh, this is by default, unless I say otherwise, we kind of start at risky standard. The risk here is that like if people start hearing that somebody from your house is missing, they may get interested in that. Like that's a certainly
Mm-hmm.
a thing there. So you would be rolling with two dice.
Right, right, right.
Um, you could spend one of your power arts dice to add to that if you wanted to.
What does the oh no, that's power weird stuff. Oh, is that so like how I activate my
Yeah. So you
fancy
can
power?
say, oh, I have my senses.
Right.
I'm using that to help me out. I'm going to spend one of my three dice to,
Yeah,
to add to
sure.
that. Okay. What does that look like? When you use your faith, when you use your senses to do that, what do we see on screen?
I think it's like mostly like sort of like the close up of the eyes of her, and then talk look a close up of the eyes of the person she's talking to, and she's like reading them, getting the vibe off them. It's just like, can I trust this one?
Absolutely. Let's have you make that roll with three dice.
All right, roll it. Oof, four.
So four. So I think that you're going to get some information, but I definitely think that you have sparked the interest of some of these people, and if a sense that they're going to go and maybe spread the word that there are some valuable children out wandering. Um, Now you can resist that consequence if you wish.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I think you'll roll your loyalty to resist that.
All right, so just all right, two.
Two.
There's a six.
Six, so you make no stress. You resist that consequence. But one of the people that you talk to will say, there were a pair of younger people. I mark them out. Uh, Young people shouldn't be out here. I mean, this
I
is
know,
not
right?
this is not the place for them.
You
It's like,
know, you know how kids are. You
yes,
know how the youth are.
yes.
You know how impetuous people are.
But I saw that a pair of them uh, with a third person, uh, slightly older, and they were headed into the market.
Of course. Of course. Of course. What did this third person look? What did this elder person look like?
They had the mask
Of
like an eagle or a hawk, but they had the colors of Montecchi. I'm sorry I didn't catch you that, but I assume you were cursing.
yes, yeah.
Oh,
See, we.
And they will take your coin
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and direct you that way. Val, what do we see you doing? And again, with any of these kind of investigations things, we always assume that you've picked up what the previous person has found out.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I am uh flitting around this market, kind of how I would usually approach a carnival that I want to have fun at.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they gave you some extra
which
money
they
to
gave me
come
some extra
here.
money too, which I am not spending. I'm being very responsible right now. This is a cover that I'm
Okay.
having. I'm just here to have fun. No one would guess that I'm on a mission. So I think I'm looking at trying to get a look out any bird-like masks to try to find that person, or maybe a seller of those kind of masks.
Ooh, I like that. I think you can uh, find uh, a uh, a seller that has hawk-like masks there by the entryway to the market,
Okay.
and they will look at you. They just have a few of those at towards the back, um, and uh, they will nod to you and they will say, "What kind of mask do you have on right now? Very basic one or a more fancy one? What do you have on?"
I was picturing like a devil mask.
Okay. Ah,
Yeah,
good Sir Devil. How can I help you? Are there any of my wares that have caught your fiendish eyes?
indeed. Uh, Fiendish as I am, I like to uh be flexible in my disguises, take a change of persona throughout the night. So
Ah,
I'd like to acquire some of your masks.
pray tell which ones catch your eye.
Going to pick one that's like the eagle or hawk, just in case.
Okay. Kind of
Yeah.
point to that set of eagle or hawk masks.
hmm
Afraid those are not for sale.
Oh, my
Unless,
mistake.
and he's sort of clearly expecting, unless you know.
Of course. Uh, I am, of course, here on the behalf of. I think her impulse is to say, I'm of course here on the behalf of my good friend Gino Gino.
I think we're going to see how well you're going to pull that particular ruse off.
All right.
What do you want to roll that with?
Um, okay. Uh, let's see. I feel like C's are aroused, probably.
Yeah, I like C's to
Okay.
try and take control of the situation.
Yeah.
Um, so you've got a die there.
Okay.
You could, if you have an art that would be appropriate, that would help. You could
Ooh.
spend an art die.
Well, I am adapting myself a little to
Sure, sure.
fit in with the Montecchi bearing.
So yeah, that's two dice.
Okay. All right. So let me look at the rules thing. Okay. This is an action.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, what are the stakes here? Or
Right now, the stakes are that this guy certainly has some expectations about Montecchi agents and who those masks should go to, and they will certainly be alerting other people if they feel suspicious about you.
okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so 2d6. Okay. Got a 6 and a 5.
Yes, Gino was here earlier. I see he said that there would be others
Yes, I
here.
am expected.
Absolutely, absolutely. And he will go and he will fetch down a particularly cruel looking raven's mask and he will bring it over to you. Here you are.
Oh, splendid. Thank you so much. You have a nice night now.
And you as well. If
Okay.
Evander, you probably observed this interaction, or were you working on something else? What do you think?
I think he was observing. I think Evander made the not quite executive decision, but uh Giselle tends to coddle Val a little bit. So Evander's with Val, and I think Giselle is with Lysandros. If Evander had his way, that's how it is.
Right?
So we've picked up these masks, and I think he begins by saying to Val, of course, this is a wonderful idea for blending in with the Cretans, but I
Thank you.
yeah, I have a but statement.
I
But
heard the but. I just wanted
yes,
to acknowledge the praise.
yes, of course.
Mm.
But when we wrangle the children away, do you think perhaps being dressed or passing as the enemy family will alert them and make the scene become utterly loud?
Um, if they're already with the enemy family, I don't see how it could make it any worse.
You always say that.
Yes, and I'm right.
I think
Rarely, just
Evander.
because things work out for you does not mean you are right.
I fail to see how that makes me not right if I'm consistently getting
Burning
results.
Moonlight.
All
Let's.
right.
I think Evander's move is to uh kind of case the joint, look for similar bird-like masks, see if they're gathering in a particular locale.
Uh, what do you think that you want to use for that? What do you think for that action? Does that feel like read? Does it feel like coax? What do you think?
Let me see. I feel like it's coax. If there's already like some secrets kind of being thrown around, like, these masks were being saved for someone with a purpose. That says to
Hmm.
me they're clandestinely gathering. So I think they might be discreet, uh these folks we're looking for.
Absolutely. So we're starting there with two dice. Are you good with that?
I'm pretty good with that, yes.
Okay.
Let's add those. We have a 6 and a 4.
So you will see a pair of figures. They have cloaks on, the top coats, but you can see the colors of the Mercury. Um, what is the colors that the Mercury wear that are different from the Capuletti, Evander?
It is a gold where we don silver.
Okay. So a strong metallic difference there, kind of garishness of gold. They have it kind of concealed, but you see they have these bird masks on, and they seem to be striding with purpose, deeper into the bowels of the market there. And you can certainly follow them if you wish.
And I think that's a good starting point.
Okay.
Group, are we following? Are we splitting?
It's only natural that we would follow
Hmm.
Cover,
to the
cover.
gathering where I blend in.
So one hawk mask and three non-hawk masks or bird masks.
They're my
Uh,
assistants.
yes. Lysandris, how are you feeling about this? What is your sense of things?
Just keeping an eye on their surrounding as they're investigating, asking questions, see if anyone is running away, trying to report things.
I mean, You are a slightly odd crew. Everyone else is enjoying themselves, they're partying and so on. That makes them a certain amount of distracted. Uh, but I do think there is a moment there as you're watching, and you will see in the close by the night market a couple of those swordsmen that are ghostly figures that you've seen, and you will actually see them stop and they turn their heads up. They lower their weapons as if they're listening for something, some some sound or song or voice that they're hearing somewhere.
To trace it to the source if I can follow it.
Okay, what do you think would be appropriate for that?
Read, I guess.
Yeah, I like read. Uh, do you want to spend an art die? You have to give yourself a starting die there.
Yes.
Okay. Um, and I will tell you what, I'll make you an offer if you want another die.
Yes. Go ahead.
I think that to listen, you have to go close by these ghosts, and I think one of them will kind of get entangled in your shadow.
Okay.
Okay. So you are kind of have this ghost that sinks down and is kind of dragged along there on that. So roll with two dice.
This is something that I don't feel, right?
Not yet.
Okay. So two die.
One and a four. So I think that you are following, and you are definitely realizing that as Giselle, Evander, Val are kind of following these two masked figures along, that it's definitely kind of, and you will hear it, and it sounds like a violin, maybe, uh, or a fiddle, something of that kind that is playing, but just at the edge of your hearing. Um, and it sounds like something of the graveyard. And I think you will get a chill that will run down you. The combination of that ghost in your shadow and hearing this sound. And I think I'm going to have you mark a level one harm, which we'll call cold.
How do I mark it?
Yeah, you get two boxes there for level one harm. So you can, well, and
Row
actually,
42, right?
yeah, so you actually will write it in there cold
Oh,
under the box there, next to the one. Basically, you can take two level one harms and then you start going up to level twos. So how do we know that you are chilled?
the fog comes out of
Oh,
their mouth.
nice. Um, so we will see the four of you kind of following along quietly. You haven't alerted these people, um, but you will see them go, and they are now deep in the market, and you actually moved kind of past the place where there were stalls and entertainments and things like that, and you feel like you're kind of back in the back rooms of the market, so to speak. And you will see these two figures. There is a tent, and there are a pair of guards who have just plain white porcelain masks on. These two in the hawk masks stop. They seem to flash something, to the guards. And then the tent opens and there's kind of a greenish light that pours out, and those two go in. What do you want to do? Giselle, who do you look to? Do you
I um if it's okay with Val, I look to see where Val is, and what's Val up to?
Val is assessing the
Oh,
situation.
okay.
They clearly showed something. She doesn't have anything to show. So we're trying to figure out what that might be and where I can get one of those. Currently plotting.
Okay. You haven't wandered off. That's good.
No, no, we're still in the plotting phase.
All right. Maybe we
Let us
should
say that
circle
if you
around.
look back, you will see that there are a couple more of these bird-faced figures coming this way, kind of up from behind you.
Two of them. Interesting.
Maybe we can just like catch on the tail of them and just go in with them.
I was considering something a little more hands-on, but that's a good idea too.
Hands on, you say.
Hmm?
Hands on, you say.
Oh dear.
I was thinking we would just borrow their masks and identification.
All right.
Which requires a little technique.
Yes.
Put it politely, yes.
Well, we
All
don't have
right.
much time,
Hey, I suggest
so
some. It, go, do what you will. Either
They
way,
often do.
Mm. I think Evander and Giselle share a knowing look.
By all means, if you have an idea.
Might I suggest, perhaps, as to not get ourselves into a situation where there will be questions we cannot answer, perhaps it would be more prudent to crash the party, so to speak.
Well, no, that's what they're planning on.
No, no. I mean in the sense of perhaps allow them to think their location is compromised, get people to move, find the children in the scuffle.
Ah, so even more of a um
Something that no one can point us to and say, yes, Baron, it was they who
Why,
beat me up and robbed me.
why not both?
Why not both, Giselle?
cause a disturbance and slip into their confidences during that. I like it.
So, who will be rabble-rousing and causing a disturbance? Okay, I see
It's
Val
that.
raise her hand.
Yeah.
Lysanders, you
yeah.
okay?
Uh,
Okay.
he was going to just knock them from behind,
Jump
catch
the
them
jump
off guard, with
jump the new
Valentia being
people.
the distraction.
Mm,
But
nice.
we could use your help, Evander, your magic, if you have any appropriate ones. This would be the time
Do you mean for the creating the distraction, or do you mean for entering into the place?
to give us like some sort of magical cover so
Okay.
we can later deny our involvement in the robbery or just involvement in the attack.
hmm
Well,
I need to warm up.
we can certainly read that as an assist, spend stress to assist on a roll if you want to do it that way. That's one simple way to do that.
Yeah.
Let's start with Val, and then let's
hmm
come to Lysandros, and we'll see about assist dice or art spend or so on. Val,
Yes.
Giselle, Evander, kind of beside you want to try to take out one or both of these?
Yeah. Yeah, I think both of them. Okay, Liz. We'll go
Absolutely.
for both of them.
You know,
Go
when
all
you
the
do
way.
that, I think that it becomes a desperate standard effect, I think, giving you a chance to
Ooh.
earn an experience point there, but with the consequences being much, much worse. You're
I
losing
like
money
it.
not
That's why I
doing
ask
that.
for help.
Yeah.
Uh-huh,
Okay.
uh-huh. Yeah, okay.
And what are you doing? What ability are you using to try to take out both of these people?
Hmm. Um, I could I argue provoke?
I think you absolutely could.
Okay.
Brash forward in the way of it. I think the real danger here, the real risk here, with the desperate is that you're going to take them out, but make a hell of a lot of noise in a
Yep.
way that will expose you and your companions.
Okay.
So right now, you're standing at 2 dice.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, uh, Lysandros,
Giselle's
Evander.
going to
Hmm?
help.
Okay. Who wants to
Like,
spend stress to help?
I don't need to spend stress to help.
Oh, that's right. You don't need to do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Giselle.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, "Ah, this, they're going to be the death of me? They're going to be the death of this family?
So we're standing at 3 dice.
You're going to owe me so much
Uh,
onus?
Almost no chance you could fail. But
let's
let's ask, do you want to use your arts to assist you with this?
um I don't think I'm really adapting.
That
Uh,
seems fair.
and that's the one art I have, right?
So what it is those are the ones that you have plus on are better at. The other ones you
Oh,
do have, the -1 is
okay.
the one you're not good at.
Okay, so I do have and I can spend an art die for that.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Let's see.
I mean, you're adaptable, right?
I'm adaptable.
That's a way to read it.
Yeah, yeah.
This isn't the first ghost market I've fought in. Jump someone in.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah, spend that art
sure.
die.
Sure, I'll just spend
Now
that.
you're rolling 4 dice. This seems
Yeah.
overkill to me.
It's desperate though, so
I kind of want to I kind of want to use my miserable fortune ability to add a fifth die.
You are more than welcome
do
to.
it.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
why?
Why not?
Okay.
It's perfect.
5 dice.
It would be so funny if I failed this. Okay.
I would
Why
laugh.
would you say that?
It
What? I mean, yes, but all
A
right.
6 in
I
there.
got a
I
six.
saw all these twos and ones, and I got so excited deep inside. And then there was a 6.
It's because I used my special luck.
So, what does it look like when you, with that assistance, drop these two? Like, how do we see you do that?
I feel like I just kind of um like come up beside them, um very quickly like draw my rapier and put it through like the kind of top of their mask to just take it and like use that surprise to like push both of them down in a kind of a suplex almost.
Okay. Knocking them out and binding them. I think that seems reasonable. Uh, and taking these masks from them.
Yeah,
Looking for
And
whatever they were flashing.
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. Maybe cloaks
weird,
as well.
weird little metal badge that they had with the sigil that you don't recognize.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Um, so that part of taking out those the people who were coming up and getting the masks taken care of. Now, what's the next step? Evander, what's next on the menu?
Uh, I think it's to get this area cleared, and I think he's going to. I'm picturing like there was a fire breathing accident gone wrong kind of thing.
Okay.
Like there is an immediate uh and flashy sense of danger in this area now from
Oh,
one of
okay.
the uh carnival attractions or performers.
Yeah. Let's what do you want to use for kind of creating that distraction and giving yourselves kind of an advantage on this next step?
Hmm. It feels like a seize to me, and I don't have any dice in that, so I'm feeling like he's using an art of unleash.
Yeah, I like that. You do have advantage with that. Do you want to spend two art dice on it?
Um, would that,
They give you two dice
yeah,
to roll as
you
opposed to
know what?
zero.
Yeah, we are at zero, so we'll spend two.
Okay.
What is
Um,
the action? Can anyone else help?
yeah, absolutely. Do you want to spend a stress to assist, Lysandros?
Yeah, I have to uh justify it, right? In the narrative, in the fiction.
Yeah, tell us how you're
How,
assisting with
so
that,
what
getting
does
the
that, what does Evander's action looks like?
yeah.
I think he is going to use um magic to some degree. He doesn't have like enough time to make him look like uh someone who belongs at this carnival, so I think the idea is like uh acting the part of a drunken patron that's gone a little too far and having too much fun.
Okay. Yeah. I dig that. So Lysandros, how will you
Then
assist?
just if Evander is going to knock into anyone else, Lysandra is going to do the actual pushing, shoving for them so that they don't actually touch, he doesn't actually touch anyone.
Perfect. So you spend a stress. Evander gets an extra die. Evander, roll three dice.
We have a six there.
Look at that. You guys are killing me today.
Yeah, I
Uh,
guess so.
so
Our luck will run out.
I think that you start kind of knocking things around, causing distraction and, maybe even using a little bit of your art to make people feel like this is not where they need to be, like there's a little bit of a threat here, and kind of start clearing the way around. You have the masks, people are distracted. There's a little bit of confusion there. Giselle, Evander has set things up. Lysandros has set things up. The two people are taken out, got the mask. What do you want to do to capitalize on this situation?
Yeah, this is when we just, we put the masks on, we walk up, we flash the badge, just, cool as a cucumber, just to go mosey on it.
Okay. So you will step inside and you will see there is a tent and there are a set of now seven people in various bird masks. A couple of them have the Montechi colors. Um, and you will see that there are a couple of kids you recognize kind of laid out on a table, and there is a very pale figure kind of standing above them in what looks like a fine outfit. Uh, but they have a book that they are reading from as you enter in. What do you want to do?
So
I
can
think,
we recognize the kids?
yeah, I think
Yes, definitely these are
they're
the
the
two
kids we're looking
kids.
for, yeah.
Yes.
Uh, I think Giselle stealing a page from Val, hanging around her too much, just like rushes and dives at the figure standing over them reading from the book. I'm like, this
Listen,
seems bad.
okay,
So
Lysandro as well.
I will start with Giselle. Giselle, kind of air characteristically, will run, take a leap up, and rush at this figure. And I think that's the point at which the vampire catches you in sort of mid-air. Now, what do you want to do?
this is why I should never take advice from her. Val. This is
Giselle,
But
you're asking just at me
I'm
what
asking Giselle before I
she's
move on to
caught
the
in
others.
midair?
Yes.
Um, oh, um, help, get
Who
them
is
out.
who is next up? Like who is next in through the tent way into this green flame lit vampire ritual ceremony with these children tied up and several other swordsmen around?
Lysandro,
Let's start with Lysandra and then let's come to Val. I think it's almost a battle for who is first in. Lysandros, what do you do?
trying to get the same action that Giselle was doing. They thought the same thing.
Just throwing yourself right at that figure. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I think that is probably going to throw them off a little bit. I think this is, as they say, uh, desperate standard for your fight against this vampire. Does that seem fair?
Yes.
Okay. What are you rolling to try and knock this vampire back, do damage to this vampire?
Sees.
Seize. Okay. So you've got two dice for seize. Are you spending any art dice on this?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Uh,
if I need to worry about retaliation, can I use avert?
yeah, I think you could try and say you're using avert to try and help you reduce the potential damage. What does that look like with grit? Is that you just gritting your teeth, or are you getting something in the way? What do you think that is?
Yeah,
Okay,
I can't think of
just
anything
just being
better.
stoic. That is a fair thing.
Yes.
So that is three dice.
Uh, so blades we can push ourselves. Can we do that here?
You cannot push yourself in this. People
Okay.
can help you, but you cannot push yourself. You can,
Mm,
however, perhaps, if you'd like, I can give you an extra die if you're willing to take a
bargain.
consequence.
Okay. I already have another bargain.
Okay.
Um, is that okay? Just keep
Yeah,
going.
absolutely, absolutely. You
They
can
just all come
absolutely
in
take more. Yeah, yeah,
crashing together.
Can I also
absolutely.
help Lysandra?
Yes, yes, you can
Okay,
mark a stress to give them an
I will do
extra
that.
die. Okay.
Yeah.
But does that mean you have one less action because you helped?
Oh,
Nope.
I don't know. Okay,
No, you just spend the stress.
Okay.
So right
awesome.
now, we're at two dice. You spend an art. You got help. You're at four dice. Uh, and do you want me to talk with you about that bargain? Or are you good with four
Yeah,
dice? Okay.
let's go for it
So
because this
yeah,
is sword opera.
I tell you what, I'll give you an extra die, but I think that vampire is going to get just a little taste of your blood.
Yeah, who
Okay.
cares? It's just
All right.
blood.
Then five dice. Ooh,
Five.
five. So I think it is Giselle kind of caught. Lysandros will leap, will knock the vampire back. The vampire actually, I mean, and it's like hitting an iron door, Lysandros. But the two of you go tumbling back, and then you feel those fangs sink into your neck. And I think that with the desperate, I'm going to give you a level two wound as the vampire drinks your blood. And I think that harm will be called drained. And I think you feel a little lightheaded as it sinks its teeth in. Val, you're right behind, and you see Lysandros is knocked this vampire back, and is now a juice box. There's a couple of kids there. Giselle has been dropped out of the grip of this vampire. What do you do, Val?
Okay. Initially she was gonna try to get the kids. We're rebuilding our reputation. That's the
Okay.
mission. But Giselle's free now. That's kind
Hmm.
of Giselle's MO. So now I think I'm gonna adapt my plan to uh take out. She definitely has, like, given that their house is like silver, she's definitely got a silver dagger.
Okay.
And this is a vampire. So um I think she's going to try to get this probably stab, probably go for the head. I don't, she's gonna go at this vampire with the silver dagger instead of her rapier and try to get it off Liz.
Perfect. So what ability?
I think provoke again,
Provoke again.
sort of like come at me instead.
And are you spending your last art die
I
on this?
am. I
Okay.
am.
Then we are going with 3 dice for you to put more clocks ticks on this vampire.
Yeah.
Uh, it is still desperate.
Okay. I'm gonna use miserable fortune again.
Okay.
So 4 dice.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Okay, got a 6.
6. So you will slam that silver dagger into this vampire who will got Lysandros pinning him. You've got this into him. He is still moving, and his mouth comes up, blood running down. You see that blood is running off of Lysandros's neck, and these are not pretty fangs. These are ugly fangs. And
Nothing like our
does
great and noble vampires of
yeah.
House Capulet.
Yes, it does seem like some of the other people are now in that middle of, do we F out of here or what are we doing? But there are still a bunch of people around and those kids. Evander, what do you do? And then we'll come to Giselle.
Hmm.
I'd love to get a read on this situation about a great escape route.
Okay. Um, so you want to set it up to like clear the way, get a path so you can get the kids out kind of thing?
Um,
Or more get everybody out. What are you aiming for here?
the kids are the aim. How can
Okay.
I uh sneak in and grab them while this kerfuffle is happening?
Ooh, I like that. What do you want as the ability on that?
Could I make an argument for Cokes?
Well, I like that in trying to find the route. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay, yeah. So that's 2 dice with Cokes. Got one more art die.
I I know we have not as much time left in the session, so now would be a time to use it.
It would be.
All right, I'll use it then.
Okay. This is standard risky
Okay.
because things have kind of been scattered, so they're not as focused. And so we've got 3 dice right now you're working with.
All right.
5.
I was
So
fine.
I think that you will like see that there is a route out of here, avoiding the chaos. Um, but I think that right now, you're not going to be able to get both kids at the same time.
Hmm.
Now, you may resist that consequence if you wish.
Might as well.
Okay. Yep. So to resist, let's have you roll since this is about your your loyalty. What is your character's loyalty? It looks like it's 1 die for that because it's in that first attribute column. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
So you get loyalty once. So you roll me a die.
The die is 5.
Die is a 5. So you just take 1 stress to
Okay.
resist that consequence. Um, And you've got a hold of the kids. You see a pathway out of here. There's still some swords people around. There's still that vampire, Giselle.
She gets up and brushes herself off and looks very humiliated by what just happened. But then, there's still all these other people here, right?
Yes, they are
So I'm gonna turn around.
because the vampire is now kind of being wrestled by Liz and Val, and it's not entirely clear what's going to happen. Uh, People are cheesing it.
Do assets do anything?
Yeah, so to resist a consequence, you can mark an asset.
Oh, okay. They don't help with things though. Just
Correct.
that. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, uh, basically anyone that's not cheesing it basically is like, what were you thinking? You wanted to sacrifice children to a vampire? Do you really want to disrespect your every house in this manner? You know this would have gotten out. You would have brought shame, great shame. Shame. I'm shaming you right now. Get out. Now, either help kill this thing or leave. So I guess
Interesting. I like it. How do you want to play that? What do you
I
want
don't
to?
I don't know. Can I use bond or is this a command?
I like what you're doing there. I like you are calling into question their role in this, and hitting them with
We're just
humiliation.
gonna watch.
What is your goal here? What is it you want them to do?
Uh, well, if they're like under a vampire spell, maybe I'm trying to break that. But yeah, I'm trying to like make it so we don't have more people to fight.
I think that's fair. I think it's fair to convince them that they need to get out of here, versus maybe putting up a fight. Let's have you roll that.
Okay, but which do you think? Is it
I
bond
like
or
Bond. That's two
okay, cool.
dice. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I
Can
think
I
I'm
help?
spending an art die.
Yeah,
If you want to
Lysandros, how are you going to help with that persuasion? Actually, I think Lysandros, you may be caught up a little with the whole I'm
being
fighting a
fed on
vampire
by
on
a
the ground
vampire.
thing.
Just to show them that you want to end up like this.
Mark of
Scare.
stress. We'll give you a die. Giselle, you got then three dice before we
I'll
do
spend
anything
an
else.
art die because, this is all about like sensing them,
Okay.
like sensing the energies between us and the vampire,
Four dice.
stupid, sexy vampire, probably.
Stupid.
All right. Well, I got a five.
551. Uh, I think uh, that the problem is that there people suddenly kind of react, kind of break out of the thing, and they rush past you. And I think you are going to take a level one harm, essentially as they start knocking you aside to get out of here,
Okay.
realizing the consequences. Does that feel fair?
Yeah, totes.
Okay. Uh, so let's come back to
Battered.
battered. Sounds good. Lysandros and Val, you are wrestling with this vampire. Lysandros, what do you want to do? How are you going to engage it? Val has a silver dagger and is stabbing away.
Um, so Giselle was only scaring away the other uh
Yeah,
spectators.
it looks like the other masked members have started to run away. Evander had already cleared the decks before that, so right now the real threat that's left is this vampire.
I'm gonna ask him a question first
You're gonna ask the vampire a question.
before I
Well,
decide what to do.
absolutely, absolutely. You were delicious, so go ahead.
Uh, are you working for the Montechi? Answer carefully.
He says, the Montecchi work for me.
Hmm.
And I think then he's going to push himself to try and get at you, his jaw getting a little more distended and those fangs a little bit more. What do you want to do, Lysandros?
Dan pulls out the sword and start trying to stab behind at his neck.
Okay. Uh, that feels like C's.
Yeah,
Okay. So 2 dice for C's. Anything else? Well, Laura, do you want to help?
avert. Still avert.
Okay. Spend
I'm
that.
gonna help.
Spend a stress. There's another die that's 3. And spend your art, Lysandros.
Yes,
Okay.
last one.
All right. 4 dice. This is the big one.
Should I have used my
4.
4. So I think that you are going to take a second level 2 harm. Uh, but this thing is stabbed. Well, Laura, what does Val do to like seal the deal as you and Lysandros have been stabbing it? You have that silver dagger. What is it that you do to to pincer it, to finish it off?
I feel like Lysandros has finally put this creature in the perfect position for me to like go for the throat. I'm imagining the vampire's like a lot taller than us, like 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
So we can like bend him back and and just go for decapitating, I guess, with the power of gravity and my dagger.
Yeah. Perfect. And it does feel like it is that silver dagger that cuts through this in a way that a mortal weapon. You saw Lysandra stab at this thing, but that silver dagger went through it.
Hmm.
Um, and I think we'll see you all kind of grab up those kids. Evander has the path cleared, knows the way out, and we will see you all make it out into the market. I think where I mean, there was all this noise and hubbub and stuff, but by the time you get out to the market, you're kind of swallowed by the noise and the partying and everything, and no one takes any notice of you. No one says anything. Drinks are handed around. They don't make any note of this, but you have the kids.
Uh-huh. Nice.
And I think we will essentially cut to you all coming back to the estate, if that seems reasonable. Uh, and I think that's actually where we're going to kind of stop tonight. We're going to do a little bit of a chance to do some more of the vignette scenes to kind of play with the character interactions and have a chance to look at what some of these sort of pseudo downtime actions are before we go to the circle phase. So you have a chance to do that. But I think we're in a good place to have gotten a taste of that. Does that seem reasonable? Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, so I would like to do just a quick round of stars, wishes, things that you dug, wishes, things that you want to see. We've got one session, but if there's anything you're like, oh, I definitely want to see this happen on screen, that's also open for things. Brushman, can I start with you since our two fearless vampire slayers here?
Uh, Thank you for running it. First, first of all, uh, Val for being the uh fearless leader.
Oh, I'm the leader. Don't let me know that.
Yeah.
oh dear.
It's for the player.
Thank you.
Uh, Jolene for the details of the for the scenes. Uh, can I think about this wish?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because the whole time I was trying to think of clever dialogue, clever comeback.
That is
Couldn't
always
get
the
it in
problem
time.
with swashbuckler
I
games
feel you.
is
Yes.
yeah.
Hmm.
I have been there. Um, uh, uh, Giselle,
What, stars?
stars,
Stars?
wishes, whatever you
Yeah,
want to
stars.
throw in
I,
here.
you know, I love Brushman. You went all in on being a ruthless, just out for blood. And you're like, no, I really want to Can I fuck these people up? All right, I can fuck. Hey, you work these people? Yeah, I'm gonna fuck you up. Oh, they work for you? Okay. Uh, well, Laura, love, you saw the disaster, and I was hoping somebody would be the disaster. I'm like, yes, you went all in. And Kat, love the Vander. You feel properly put upon, like Giselle feels sometimes put upon, but probably put upon even by Giselle. So, and again, Lowell, great work as always. I love me a swashbuckling game,
Oh
and I
yeah.
saw this. I was like, there's openings. Okay, well, I gotta try it.
Awesome.
Wishes. Look forward to getting into more of the courtier and courtesan stuff, I guess.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see if we can get some of those political scenes out there.
See how that
Uh,
works with the mechanics, I
yeah,
guess.
absolutely. Val.
Yeah. Um, I liked I starter cat. I really liked Evander's kind of like, uh, well, I have an idea. It's to blow everything. I think that was very fun for like a sort of uh analytical magician. Um, I really liked two parts of like the end scene for both Giselle and Lysandros. Giselle shaming those people.
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing here? Very fun. And Lysandros answer carefully. Uh, all the way in. Amazing. And Lowell, I think it was really nice balance of like jumping around to who answering questions and asking and just very good reaction to like what we were doing and proactive stuff too.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, yeah, I was just gonna look at wishes, but I think also courtier stuff
okay.
sounds awesome.
We'll definitely, especially since you have a little bit of ammunition for some things, we can play off of that.
Hmm.
And Evander.
Uh, yes. It's funny, Brushman, that you were like, I was trying to think of cool dialogue. My star to you was like the moment where Lys was like, "You better run or you'll end up like me," the blood dripping from the neck. That was so funny. I also love Giselle's shaming of the people. I especially liked it in contrast with trying to rush in like Val does and then kind of picking herself up and realizing, no, that's not what I do here. And it's a good character moment, and I also think it really like, small thing, but it played into like how Val and Giselle work, like Val wanting Giselle to do things that she wants to do, but I don't know if Giselle knows how to do that, so she was copying Val a little bit. Just a very fun microcosm of a reaction character moment there. And of course, again, we love a disaster. Well, I really liked just how cheeky Val was. We knew she was gonna be, but it was really funny hearing her say like, "Oh yeah, I'm always right." Well, not always, but if it works out, clearly I'm right. And then it did work out. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah, she's very lucky this time.
Yeah, I don't want her to
Like,
be lucky next time.
I
Yeah.
know.
she'll be like bandaged up in a hospital bed. And you're like, I survived.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
right.
call that a win.
Mhm.
Just like only able to lift a thumbs up and still bragging. And that's
Uh,
what we want.
Mhm.
yeah.
I almost
Awesome.
made her go Capuletti's forever at
Yeah.
the end.
Uh,
That
I
would blow a
uh,
cover.
I will say, just really a mechanical thing. Uh, so Evander refreshes the art dice when a threat is controlled, and I think the vampire was controlled, so Evander would refresh all three of the dice. And our ruthless showed no mercy, so you would refresh one of your art dice now. So that's one of the tricks of things to lean into. I just realized. I enjoyed running this. I had a good time. We'll get some more NPCs on the table next time. We'll do some courtier stuff. We'll kind of play around. One of the things is there are some. Everybody gets like two of these sort of downtime style vignette things for healing and covering stress and doing some other things. But then you also get to kind of call some scenes for things you want to do, RP wise, or working towards your goal, or playing in what we did in the mission to goals. And so we're going to focus on that at the start before we get to the circle phase. I really appreciate you all coming along and trying this out with me, and I will see everybody next week. I am going to stop the recording if I can find the button. There we go.